Shalom, Kahala Yahweh, Bashem Yahushai, Bashem Pakwadash. Double honors my teachers, the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Peace and mercy to the elect, who are the house of David reborn again in this generation. And Shalom to the 130 Yasharallah, who today are known as the Negroes, Latinos, and Native Indians, who before losing their true heritage were known as and still are the true Hebrew Israelites of the Holy Bible. In today's lesson, we're going to talk about the things are heating up in the Middle East, right? But let's read this first. This is Jeremiah 50 and 45. Therefore, hear ye the counsel of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, that he hath taken against Babylon, and his purposes that he hath purposed against the land of the Chaldeans. Surely the least of the flock shall draw them out. Surely he shall make their habitation desolate with them. Right? And when it says the land of the Chaldeans, he's talking about the Edomite nations, man. Right? Namely here in Babylon the Great, America, as it's called today. Right? And when he says here that the least of the flock shall draw them out, right? The least of the flock are the 1948ers, the people who are in the land of Israel today, the Israelis, right? Because they are Edomites, right? But they're a different tribe of Edom than the American Edomites or the French Edomites or the Australian Edomites or the New Zealand Edomites or the Norwegian Edomites or the Swedish Edomites and so on and so on. Okay, the nation of Edom is made up of multiple tribes, just as the nation of Israel is made up of 12 tribes. Okay, well, the top tribe of Edom is the tribe known as Amalekites, right? They are the descendants of Amalek, right? The first grandson of Edom, right? This is also why they are the top tribe, because they got the first inheritance. Now, that being said, the Lord's going to use them to draw these devils out into a World War III, which ultimately will be their end, right? And it will make their habitation a desolate, okay? Now, let's go and take a look at some of the rumors of wars going on over there in the Middle East. Now, this right here is something that was reported a few days ago. It says Syrian missiles come close to striking Israeli nuclear reactor. Israel retaliates in huge escalation. You see that? Huge escalation, right? So recently, and this is funny where this actually happened at Mendemona, right? And if you're not familiar with that term, Demona nuclear reactor site. A few years ago, you had a group of Israelites that descended from the commandment keepers, right? After Abba Bivens, who is John the Baptist in the reincarnation, after he had separated from the school of the commandment keepers, well, the commandment keepers continued to preach on in false doctrine, man. They continued to believe only the Old Testament and only the blacks were the Israelites, and so on and so on. Basically, they were following the ways of the Jewish people or the Jewish religion, right? Well, they ultimately, were given into the hands of a man named Ben Ami, who basically took a bunch of Israelites over to Israel. And what did the Israelis do? Well, they settled them in Demona, okay, next to this nuclear reactor, man. Look at this, man. The nuclear site almost got destroyed, man. And what would that have done? That would have killed off those Israelites there in that land, man. But that ultimately is what's going to happen, right? Because the Lord, because see, they're actually working against the Lord. They're working against the prophecies that says that you shall not see it again. Now those Israelites who went over there, and followed Ben Ami. Ben Ami is long gone and dead and buried in the ground over there, man. But they're still over there trying to make their kingdom themselves, man. They ultimately don't seek the Messiah as their salvation, and because of that, the Lord's going to kill them. Okay, but that's another story for another time. Let's get back to this article, right? And let's see what it says. It says, overnight, Israeli military was put on high alert after alarms went off near Israel's Demona nuclear reactor site in the southern part of the country. Reuters is reporting that a Syrian surface-to-air missile exploded in southern Israel on Thursday. The Israeli military said in an incident that triggered warning sirens in an area near the secretive Dimona nuclear reactor. Right? It tells you here, it says, explosions heard near Dimona nuclear reactor in Israel. Sirens alerting to rocket attacks heard in the southern part of the country. It was an apparent Syrian response to a prior Israeli attack that targeted Damascus suburbs. Israel says that it responded to the apparent retaliatory missile attacks out of Syria. At the same time, the Jerusalem Post has this overnight local time urgent headline: missiles launched towards Israel from Syria. Israeli Defense Force responds with airstrikes. Right? And here it goes, man. And this is the Israeli Defense Force, man. It says, breaking. A surface-to-air missile was fired from Syria to Israel's southern Negev. In response, we struck the battery from which the missile was launched and additional surface-to-air batteries in Syria. Right? And here's it says view of the Israeli nuclear facility in the Negev desert outside Dimona, right? And this is where they're ultimately enriching, uranium, and this is where these devils are getting their basically their nuclear payload created, man. It says Reuters continues of the late Wednesday and overnight Thursday report. There were no immediate reports of any injuries or damage in Israel. The military said that in response to the launch, it attacked several missile batteries in Syria, including the one that fired the projectile that struck its territory. Syria's state news agency said Syrian air defenses intercepted the Israeli attack that targeted areas in Damascus suburbs. Air defenses intercepted the rockets and downed most of them. Let's see, and it goes on, man. And you see these devils are basically, they're getting things ready. And let's actually take a look real quick to show you what it looked like over there.
الله يحميك يلا ارجع على اللوبي الله يحميك.
So that's a rocket being fired from Syria, right? Here goes, says state news agencies report Syria has responded to Israeli aggression with missiles in the vicinity of Damascus, and it goes on and on. And this just to show you, this is where actually it's all going on right here. I don't think I get. Oh, here we go. Dimona, right? This is Dimona, and if you look, this is where Jerusalem is at right here. Right? This is where these attacks from Syria, these rockets are coming over here and hitting, and they're ultimately trying to hit that nuclear power plant because they're obviously trying to cause as much damage as possible. But man, this is just to show you how critical our times are, man. We are living in those times, man. Because what did the Messiah say? It was one of the signs that was going to happen before the second coming. This is Matthew 24:6. And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass. But the end is not yet. Right? And that's exactly what we've been seeing, man. We've been seeing all these rumors of wars, these build-ups, which will ultimately will lead into the Third World War. Look at this, for example, man. This was on the 21st, man. It says explosion rocks Israeli munitions factory, right? So these Amalekites, man, they basically blew themselves up, man, getting ready for this war, right? Preparing their weapons for the Third World War. They their munitions factory exploded. So kahalaya bashimushek for that. Let's watch it. it tells you right here, it says a powerful explosion took place in Israel today during a routine test at the Tomor factory for advanced weaponry. It produces rocket engines and missiles. Right? It says controlled tests with no exceptional circumstances. But yeah, basically, see, the Lord is destroying these people, man. He's making sure, that he's basically playing chess with these devils, man. He's drawing them out, and in doing so, man, he's causing their their own hand to slip and to cause accidents like this, man. Right? Here's another thing, man. Another rumor of war. It says Russia recently happened. This is on the 22nd, the next day. Russia behind directed energy attacks on U.S. troops in Syria, Pentagon officials. So check this out, man. These are the real weapons that they have today, man. These are the frequency weapons that they're using, man, that are a mystery, right? It says, now, if you don't remember, there was an attack in Havana, Cuba, years ago, man, that same thing, they blamed it on the Russians, man. That attacked a U.S. I think it was a U.S. consulate over there in Havana, Cuba, right? Where basically people got hit by a sound beam, man, and it fucked them up. Well, this has happened again here in Syria, man. So they obviously were right that this was Russia. And this just shows you, man, that Russia, again, is using this technology on them, man. It says, in the newest dramatic allegations against the suspected Russian malfeasance, the Department of Defense on Thursday revealed that it believed the Russian military targeted U.S. troops in Syria with directed energy attacks in order to make them ill and unable to conduct normal operations. Apparently, some U.S. troops occupying the country began reporting flu-like symptoms, right? And you see this, people? When you hear about that whole 5G stuff and it makes people sick and all stuff, they're not lying to you. Yeah, a lot of what's being told out there is embellished and it is, a little bit overreacting. But these 5G antennas, they really are weapons, right? But they're being used for commercial use. But they do have a potential to be weaponized, right? And this right here is a perfect example of that, to show you that the weapons or that use this similar technology, these micro beam waves, can be used to give you flu-like symptoms, okay? So it says, which caused the DoD to investigate possible linkage to microwave and directed energy weapons on the battlefield of Syria. Political reports that officials identified Russia as a likely culprit, according to the two people with direct knowledge of the matter. All right, and there it goes. Let's go ahead and read this. It says, Syria might be a proving ground for Russian direct energy attacks on U.S. forces, sources say. Pentagon investigators suspected Russian directed energy attacks, right? And it kind of goes through talking about what they're doing over there, man. And here is what I'm talking about, man, right? Let's go ahead and, this link is dead, but let's see. Does it come up this time? Oh, it does come up this time. No, actually, it was just a link to the Twitter account. But yeah, this link is dead. But it says the briefings include information about injuries sustained by the U.S. troops in Syria. The people said the investigations include one incident in Syria in the fall of 2020 in which several troops developed flu-like symptoms, two people familiar with the Pentagon probe said. The CIA is said to also be looking into these suspected attacks via its own task force. Havana Syndrome. U.S. still probing mystic sonic attacks on diplomats 3 years later, right? And this is, like I said again, this is what happened over in Cuba, right? When you had them being attacked over there by that sonic pulse machine, man. It says, strangely, the political report also included the denial that troops in Syria were ever found to be victims of such weapons by the Pentagon press spokesperson, strongly suggesting that this is a continuation of the current highly politicized just blame Russia climate in Washington. A Pentagon spokesperson, however, said that the department is not aware of directed energy attacks against the U.S. troops in Syria. Right? The spokesperson declined further comments on the Pentagon's interactions with Capitol Hill or any internal investigation. And you see, that's ultimately because they're trying to deny all this shit, man. They're trying not to appear to be weak. Right? What did this guy say? He says, American troops in Syria got the flu, so naturally the Pentagon suspects a Russian energy attack. So say the generals who should be in padded rooms instead of leading armies, right? And you got idiots like this, man, who don't think that what's happening right now is that there's a build up to World War III, man. These are the people who are going to be screaming in the streets, talking about what's going on, not having a clue of what's happening, right? Because ultimately what's happening, man, is that the world is getting ready for war, right? And in doing so, you're going to have a lot of these attacks, these covert attacks, these using of new technology. Because again, remember, the military and government is about 40 years in the future when it comes to technology, right? They suppress information and technology for multiple decades before it reaches the civilian realm, man. This is why, remember when they supposedly went and killed Osama bin Laden, that they found that they crashed this mystical helicopter, the stealth helicopter? Well, why is that? Why did that come out? Well, because they have these machines, man, but they're all secret, man. They're all hidden. And that also includes things like these sonic weapons, things like the so-called UFOs that the parent military is flying to, right? Which they're going to use to deceive the masses, right? Here's another rumor of war. It says Russia's defense chief blames NATO destabilizing actions for deterrent troop buildup, right? So basically, Russia is saying it's because NATO, right, which we know in the Bible is the beast which the horse sits upon in Revelations, right? Russia is saying it's because of NATO that they are actually building up the troops there on the Ukraine border, man. So you see, these are just more rumors of wars that are coming through, people. This is what's actually happening. But ultimately, guess what's going to happen? These devils, the people who are planning to bring forth the New World Order, right? These Edomites that sit on top, and these other Edomites which are jockeying for a place of power, right? These Russians, and even the Moabites, the so-called Chinese, they're all going to be destroyed, man. They're all going to be caught with their pants down, because the Lord ultimately He's going to get all these people. And why is that? Well, there's a prophecy that tells you that when they're about to accomplish their goals, that the Lord is going to destroy them, and that can be found here in Job 20 and 22. In the fullness of His sufficiency, He shall be in straits. Every hand of the wicked shall come upon him. When he is about to fill his belly, God shall cast the fury of His wrath upon him, and shall rain it upon him while he is eating. He shall flee from the iron weapon, and the bow of steel shall strike him through. Right? And this right here is talking about these devils, man. When they're about to accomplish, when they're about to fill their bellies, what does that mean? That means that when they are about to finish their plans for world dominations, to bring forth this new world order, right? That's them about to fill their bellies, man. About to get everybody microchips, right? Get everybody injected, right? Get all the world powers to subject themselves to the world elites, right? When that happens, that's when the Lord's going to bring the fury of His wrath upon him, right? That's when He's going to make World War III break out, and ultimately, that's when He's going to flee, or He's ultimately going to basically make these devils launch the nuclear missiles, man. That's what the iron weapon and the bow of steel is talking about, man, right? Because these devils, what they will eventually come up against is going to be the World War III and the nuclear destruction and nuclear war that's going to come from that. Right? So hopefully this video is edifying. Hopefully it gives you an update on what's been going on over there in the Middle East, the Levant area. So we're every day we're getting closer, Akim. So take that as you will. Start getting make preparations for you and your household, and repent if you have not repented yet, because we are in those times, Akim. So till the next time, I want to give all praises to Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. Bashem Ruach HaKodesh. Double honors to my teachers, the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Peace and mercy to the elect. Shalom.